You've survived the sickness, but you're not the same.
All kids are given a color assignment that corresponds to their disorder. Greens enhance intelligence.
Blue.
Have telekinetic abilities. Golds can manipulate electricity. Reds,
The most destructive. And orange. Mind control.
My name is Susana Matos Crook, and I am in my second year of the LDL program. I am an educational consultant. I have my own company called Up the Bar Consulting. So I am very much a practitioner. And through this doctoral program, I am really learning a lot in terms of more academic thought. So I wanted to use something super practical and something that was very personal to me in terms of working through this whole idea of making meaning. So I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old daughter. And of course, my 14-year-old daughter is deeply in love with this social platform called TikTok. And we've heard so much about the pros and cons of TikTok and trying to figure out what does it all mean. So as you just saw in the video and in the captions and in the headlines, it's getting a lot of attention. And it's important for us as educators to look at things from multiple perspectives and to really be able to use different lenses when we're making sense of the world. So that's what I intended to do with this update, and I actually also am working through my work too on doing the parsing TikTok through the 5 functions of meaning. So I actually visited TikTok in another class when I wanted to talk about the multimodality of the app, of the social platform. And it really is, it's remarkable to me, and I think it is extremely creative, and I think it really does serve a purpose. And we have to be really careful with it because, as you saw, one of the headlines said, there are dangers lurking in, when people put out all different kinds of ideas, what we get when we do that. So with this update, I wanted to focus on agency. And in this particular case, I have a researcher who decided to kind of figure out and understand and get a better handle on what TikTok and the TikTok world was. So she also has a 14-year-old daughter. She enlisted her daughter as a co-researcher, which I thought was remarkable. And what they did together was, here's this mom as a parent trying to understand the world of this social media platform called TikTok with her daughter, who's heavily invested in it. So the mom then took on several lenses. So now she's not only the mom trying to make sense of her daughter's world, but she's also a researcher trying to make meaning of this. And she is a consumer of TikTok now because she's watching these TikToks and trying to get a better handle on how they work. And she's also a creator of TikToks because her daughter taught her how to make TikTok videos. And together, as you see in this picture, they work through and started becoming creators of TikToks. So you've got this series of lenses that this researcher is using, and you've got this agency that she's feeling as a mom, as a parent, as a researcher, as a consumer, as a user. And then you've also got the daughter, the co-researcher, who's a teenager with a very different perspective. And now this teenager is a co-researcher And so she's been elevated in status. So she's seeing the world a little bit differently now because she's looking at the eyes through the eyes of a researcher. As she engages in TikTok, as she engages in teaching her mom how to use TikTok. So there's a lot of interpretation all the way around in this update, in making sense of TikTok and how these co-researchers are trying to make meaning together by putting together all of their different ways of interpretation. And I thought that was phenomenal. And I can't wait until the research is published. Now, when I move on to my work, I'm really looking at TikTok and looking through the 5 functions. And how can we interpret the world? How we can interpret how this Generation Z is making sense of the world and trying to find order in the world because it's a super chaotic time. And they, with their not fully formed brains because they're adolescents, are trying to make sense. And it behooves us as parents, as educators, as adults, to kind of see their thought patterns. And some of it may be super cringy to watch, but they are sending out some very clear messages, and we need to listen. So that's my update, and I thank you very much for your time. Have a good night.